The Xbox 360 is 20 years old. I know, right? It's embarrassing to think it was that long ago. I've been a game collector for a long time. And one thing I've seen over and over and over again is that when a console hits the 20-year mark, that's when it starts becoming really collectible. The kids that grew up with the console, well, they're out of college now. They have their first job, they have disposable incomes, they want to buy the cool stuff they had when they were a kid, and guess what that is right now? The Xbox 360. Convention season just ended. I've been to so many conventions. I've seen so many people. A lot of them are people in their 20s. They're not looking for NES stuff. They're not looking for TurboGrafx-16 stuff. They're looking for the stuff they had when they were a kid. Xbox 360, PS3, Wii. I ask them the games they're looking for. I hear the same answers over and over and over again, but they're just not finding those games. Hey guys, I'm RNG Gamer. I play all my games randomly, and here's 7 Xbox 360 games you should probably get before it's too late. This first game is a game published by Konami. It got a little bit of hype when it came out, mainly some notoriety because it kind of stole its best idea from another franchise. That other franchise is Katamari, a game where you roll this ball around and collect bigger and bigger and bigger things till you're so huge you're like sucking up galaxies and stuff. This game took that idea and switched it up a little bit, and this is one of those quote-unquote hidden gems that people always mention on the Xbox 360. In all the years I've been collecting for the 360, I've seen like 2 copies of this game out in the wild, and it's Tornado Outbreak. And just like the title says, you play as a tornado. You zip around these different maps, sucking up stuff, getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and stronger and stronger and stronger, and wreaking havoc all over the town. It's that Katamari tried and true gameplay style that people love so much. This mixes things up a little bit because there are boss battles. There's not really any boss battles in Katamari. Now, I've seen this game again and again and again on hidden gems lists. I've seen it all over YouTube. Matter of fact, that's why I bought the game, because people kept saying, this is the game you gotta have this game. You gotta have it, it's gonna be expensive. I grabbed mine at like 20 bucks. I think it was in a pickups video on this channel, but at the Southeast Game Exchange, I had 2 different people tell me they were looking for this game. I never saw a single copy of it. There are probably 100,000 games or more at that convention. No copies of it? No copies of it? Really? It was Konami. It's not like it was put out by a small publisher. Konami was like in full swing back on the 360. This should have been like a big hit, but it just flew under the radar. And here we are now. I have no idea what it's worth. It might be really expensive. It might still be $20. But a lot of people are looking for it and you just don't see it. So if this looks interesting to you, if you haven't gotten it already, there's never gonna be a better time than right now. Now, I have another big video in the works. I've been working on it for a couple of months. It's taking a long time. And while doing that video, I have had to do a bunch of research. Now, I'm not gonna tell you the topic. I don't wanna spoil it for you. But I will say that one game keeps making an appearance over and over and over and over again. Everybody knows that game. But what they don't know is that that game had a sequel or a spiritual successor. The original game was on the PlayStation 2. It was called Black. Lots of people played it. Lots of people loved it. It was a very popular game and still very inexpensive. But I never hear anybody talk about Bodycount. So what made the original Black stand out so much, other than the fact it played really well, it had great design, and it holds up kind of even as a modern first-person shooter by today's standards for a game that came out on the PlayStation 2? That's incredible. But it's extremely challenging. It's considered to be one of the hardest first-person shooters on like the normal regular mode that has ever been put out. Bodycount is more of the same thing, but instead of taking this gritty, urban kind of dusty, brownish, red, black like thing that was so popular on the PS2, that aesthetic, that PS2 aesthetic. Instead, they opted for color. See, the same thing was going on in the Xbox 360 era. The average Xbox 360 game was just like brown and gray, but not Bodycount. No, you have cyans and greens and like neons, all this really beautiful, vibrant color. I love the colorway of this game. It looks incredible. From what I understand, it plays pretty well, but it just kind of like slipped under the radar. I haven't heard a lot of people mention this, but there is a trend in video gaming where a really popular game just waits too long to put out a sequel and people just don't know the sequel exists. And then later, when they rediscover that first game, they find out there's a sequel. Surprise, surprise, you can't find it anywhere. I know Bodycount is still a relatively inexpensive game. I know you can grab this really cheaply, but I don't know how long that's going to be the case. This looks good to you. And I hope it does, because in the 360 era, games like this, they were kind of hard to come by. This is the kind of game you still might find in a pawn shop. You still might find it in a thrift store. People just don't know about it. And if you're out at those secondhand shops looking for games and you're just not finding stuff and you have to go online, well, let me tell you about today's sponsor, Goodiez. Goodiez is my favorite online marketplace for buying, selling, and trading games. Now you can trade in multiple games at once. And if you trade in a bunch of them, over $200, you get free shipping. And let me tell you why you want to do that. If you're looking for one of the newer Pokemon games and you need it and the prices are kind of high, because like new games are like 80 bucks, trade in some stuff to Goodiez. You can use that store credit towards one of these Pokemon games. This deal isn't going to last much longer. It's a great deal. Plus, if you're on there and you've traded in $200 for stuff, you might as well grab some other games too to go along with your Pokemon stuff. If this looks good to you, there's a link to Goodiez in the description down below. Thank you so much, Goodiez, for sponsoring this video. Let's talk about some more games you should buy. I mentioned doing research when I talked about the last game. And while doing that, I saw another series pop up a bunch of times. As a matter of fact, this is a series I'm very familiar with because I just live streamed the first game in the series on this channel. That series is Splatterhouse. And I keep seeing these Splatterhouse games pop up a lot recently. They are getting very pricey. Extremely pricey and hard to find. But what most people don't know is that all three of the original Splatterhouse games just happen to be on a modern game. What game is it? Well, buddy, it's the remake of Splatterhouse. Here it is on the Xbox 360. Now, I know this game got really pricey and may still be pricey on the PS3. During COVID, I went to a convention and the PS3 version was like nearing $100. I think it's settled down now, but the Xbox 360 version was never as in demand as it was. Now, this game, it's a third-person hack and slash run around beat 'em up game. It got okay reviews. I hear it's decent enough to play. But most people don't know that Splatterhouse 1, that was only released in the arcades and on the TurboGrafx 16, you know, that common console we all just have sitting around our houses, right? It's on this. Splatterhouse 2, which was like $100 on the Sega Genesis freaking 15 years ago, it's on this game. Splatterhouse 3, which is God knows how much. I don't even own that on the Sega Genesis. It's so hard to find. Also on this game. The original Splatterhouse games are the ones I want to talk about. They're amazing. They're all on here. Now, they did do a Namco compilation on the Evercade that had all three Splatterhouse games on it. But guess what? That's the one and only game on the Evercade that doesn't work on the console version of the Evercade. It only works on the handheld. See, Namco only sold them the rights to put it on a handheld system, not on a home console. So that game doesn't work. A bunch of people got their hopes up thinking they were gonna be able to play Splatterhouse on their big TV. Surprise, surprise, it doesn't work. If you wanna play Splatterhouse 1, 2, and 3, like, I don't know, $500 worth of games, just play on the Xbox 360 in HD on this version. People already know about this. They already know that this game it's wanted because it's a horror game, but they may not know that those Splatterhouse games are on that disc. If you're looking for those, this is the way to get them. Grab them. Don't grab them, grab it. Grab the game, man. 4 games for the price of 1. I paid $100 for my TurboGrafx 16 copy of Splatterhouse like 7 years ago. I have no idea how much it is now. Ninja Gaiden has been a series my whole life. I played it on the NES. I played it on the freaking PS3 not that long ago when I played Ninja Gaiden Sigma, which is mega hard, by the way. They've re-released the games a bunch of times. There's even a new Ninja Gaiden game that just came out. And there's a side-scrolling one called Ragebound. Also, Shinobi came out as a side-scroller. People have ninja on the brain. They're all going back to these ninja style games. But there's a game in that style with that challenge and that fast gameplay that was put out by Fromsoft, the makers of Dark Souls and Demon Souls and Elden Ring, but nobody ever talks about it yet. And it's Ninja Blade. When this came out, it did not get a lot of attention. Fromsoft was not as well known then as they are now. They weren't a premier developer. They're a developer that pumped out a bunch of garbage and then occasionally had an okay game here and there. The people kind of lumped this in with like the okay games, but kind of on the border of garbage. And I think that's kind of how this game is. It's not perfect. It's not as good as Ninja Gaiden, probably not as good as Shinobi, but it's in the ballpark. There's gonna be a time when people want to get every Fromsoft game. That's already happened. It's so hard to collect a full set anymore, to go out and get all the Wii games, or go out and get all the N64 games, or get all of the Xbox 360 games. So what people do is they get mini collections. I'm gonna get all the Contra games. I'm gonna get all of the Konami games. I'm gonna get all of the Fromsoft games. And people forget that this is one of those. With Ninja games being in the front of everybody's mind at the moment, this is gonna come up sooner or later. When I traded for my copy of this from a buddy of mine, it was going for like $20-something. This is several years ago. I have not seen another copy of this game since then. And people are like, yeah, of course you haven't seen it. Like, nobody goes to stores anymore. Buddy, I go to conventions all the time. I see games. There's not many people outside of like store owners and flippers that see more games than me. And I'm always looking for like obscure stuff. I'm not looking for Pokemon. I'm not looking for Mario. I'm looking for stuff like this. And I comb through those bins. I flip through them. This isn't one you see. You just don't see it. I just don't think people know about it. That's the point of these videos, is to let you guys, the enthusiasts, the hobbyists, the collectors, know about these games before the resellers catch on. They don't know anything about games. They just know what's popular that they can make a quick buck off of. I'm trying to give you a heads up. I'm not trying to help them. Someone else will make this video to help them. The most popular videos in the retro gaming community are reselling videos. I'm fighting an uphill battle against them. I don't want them to let the other resellers know about these games before the collectors find out. So that's why I tell you, that's the point of these videos. I don't resell, I don't flip, I collect. And I play. I hope you find these first. I really do. About a year ago, there was like hellfire and brimstone, FOMO fear of Xbox 360 games going up. A bunch of obscure games just like shot through the roof. And this was one of them. I predicted it would. But after those videos kind of died down, the price of this game has sort of leveled off. But I don't know how much longer that's gonna be the case. If you need this game, and you're still looking for it for your collection, and you can't travel back in time, now's the time. It's flipping Operation Darkness. You can see it right there. Atlas. When you see Atlas on a game cover, you know people are gonna lose their minds over it. The day the Xbox 360 came out, I started collecting for it. GameStop was having these buy two, get one free sales all the time, all these like huge discounts. Just, it was like the promised land for Xbox 360 collecting for a long time. I went to the store twice a week, looked through stuff, looked online at reviews, bought online. I was trying to get a huge Xbox 360 collection, and I did, but guess what? Never heard of this game, never popped up once. Never saw it on any articles online, never heard anybody mention it in any videos. It's made by Atlas, so it got a low print run. Right? And it's a tactical RPG. Tactical RPGs tend to hold up pretty well. The gameplay of them doesn't change much. It's pretty similar from generation to generation. Now, I think what happened with this game is that you play as like an elite group of soldiers trying to fight against Adolf Hitler's armies full of supernatural werewolves and vampires and stuff. Now, I bought this game years ago. I have still not played it. It is in my backlog. It's buried in there deep, guys. It's been on there like, I don't know, man, 12 years or something. I'll play it eventually. It'll have to get picked, right? It has to get picked. But like I said, I know this game is like an Xbox 360 holy grail. Okay, it just is. It's up in the upper echelon of collectability on the Xbox 360. But the hype died down. People aren't mentioning it. I know people are gonna wanna play it. It's Atlas. It's an RPG. It's a tactical game. It's got supernatural horror elements in it. But most importantly, you can't find it anywhere. When you can't have something, it makes you want it even more because it makes it special. This is a special game. Not in terms of its gameplay, of course. I don't think it's supposed to be like an absolutely banger of a game. I think it's supposed to be pretty like, meh, like it's an okay game. But if there's a list somewhere online of like the top 10 rarest Xbox 360 games that isn't just full of collector's editions. I hate when they do that. What are the top 10 rarest games on the Xbox 360? It's just a bunch of like it's Rock Band Beatles signed by the Beatles. Like yeah, of course. No joke. If that list exists somewhere, this game's on it, okay? Top 10 hardest to find US released Xbox 360 game. Mark it in blood. Those games are gonna go up. They are. Buy them when they're down. Buy in the dip. This isn't the dip, it's the lull, okay? It's probably not gonna go down. I don't think it's gonna get re-released. It's got Hitler in it. You think Nintendo's just gonna throw that out unaltered on the Switch 2? Is it like a game key card? Like, no. This next game's from a series that I actually really like. I've only played the first one, but I have all of them. I'm planning to play them. I played the first one like crazy on the PC, which is where it originally came out, but it got released on the Xbox 360, and it's a very common, popular game. Like, it's not expensive. But this series has like fallen by the wayside, which is insane because this game was renowned for its atmosphere, its spookiness. It is a spooky shooter, and the enemy AI, which even to this day is unrivaled in a lot of games. It's F.E.A.R, which stands for First Encounter Assault Recon. They, you know, they came up with F.E.A.R first, and then they're like, we got to think of words that'll go with that. that's what happened. Now, most of you probably know about F.E.A.R. This game was a massive hit, spawned 2 sequels, which I think are less good, but whatever the case. No one talks about F.E.A.R anymore. Now, I don't think this game is ever gonna be like worth hundreds of dollars, okay? But I do think it's gonna be a game that's gonna be harder to find. Like when you think back of all the games you played back when you had an Xbox 360, and you're like, yeah, dude, I played F.E.A.R. I rented that game on GameFly, which I found out is still around. And you're like, man, I want to get all those games I played but never owned. And you're like, F.E.A.R, heck yeah, dude, F.E.A.R, that was great. But like, you just don't really see it that much. You think it would be in like those bargain bins where it's like 3 for $10, but F.E.A.R just isn't in there. I think this is one of those games that people played and they just kind of like kept it. Like I said, I don't think it's gonna be worth hundreds of dollars, but I could see this being like a $50 game in, you know, a decade or something like that. Fun gameplay, dude. Really cool atmosphere, scary story, very spooky, very atmospheric. I think F.E.A.R was a great game. I kind of look forward to playing F.E.A.R 2 and 3. They've been sitting on my shelf almost since when they came out. So I've got, like I said, they got to get picked someday, right? I play everything randomly. Surely one day they're gonna get picked. I hope I live that long. But I think I will live long enough to see F.E.A.R go up in price. This is one you should grab. There's nothing that will make the games on a console's price go up like rumors of the online marketplace shutting down. If some company like Sony or Microsoft announces that they're just gonna like shut down their freaking online store, people panic. They start looking for games. They start buying the games physically that were on the store. But what do you do about the games that were not released physically? The games that are trapped is online only games, small indie games. Well, a lot of times you're just screwed. However, back on the 360, a lot of people still didn't have high-speed internet. A lot of people didn't even know they could connect their console to the internet. So Xbox put some of those games on like compilation packs. People built memories with those games like they do any other game. And the bangers, the ones that stand out, some of them are stuck on these online compilations. This is Xbox Live Arcade Unplugged Volume 1. And it has 6 games on it. Texas Hold'em, no one cares. Hardwood Backgammon, no one cares. But 4 other ones that a lot of people were playing. Bejeweled 2, a match 3 game. Remember Bejeweled 2? Outpost Kalaki X. Now, I remember my buddy playing this like crazy. It says, roleplay as a space station tycoon, tend to your guests, manage your businesses, and encounter wacky storylines. Live the adventure. Crazy art style on this one. Very, very unique. And along with it, you have Wick, Fable of Souls, which is kind of like a, I can't even remember what it is. Is it like, it's a platformer, right? Like Rayman, I believe. But what this game was the downloadable game of the year winner when it came out. The year it came out, of all the online downloadable only games, this was the game of the year. A lot of people played this. But most importantly on this compilation is Geometry Wars Retro Evolved. The first Geometry Wars. They've all been re-released on other systems, but that one I think is still stuck on there. Geometry Wars was like the loading screen game for like Project Gotham Racing. Is that how it worked? And then they remade it online on Xbox Live Marketplace. It's a twin stick shooter in an arena, but with super fast, quick gameplay. tons of high tension action and lots of bright neon colors. So many people were playing Geometry Wars. I remember on the early days of a 360 looking on a forum and people were complaining about Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2 or whatever the freaking crap, I can't whatever one was on the 360 in the early days. And people were having problems with it, and I remember one guy getting so frustrated because he couldn't find the answer he wanted on the forum and everybody was trolling him. He's like, screw you guys, I'm just gonna go back to playing Geometry Wars. That's the best game on the system anyway. I remember that from almost 20 years ago, reading a forum post and a guy being like, screw the most popular game, I'm just gonna play Geometry Wars. How many of you out there have felt that way about some game? You get stuck in some game and you just go back to like the bread and butter game, the game you know you'll love, the game that'll make you feel great. That's Geometry Wars. That was like the game on the 360. Tons of people have those fond memories. This is the compilation to get. There's a couple more, I think, but this is the one you want. Well guys, there are 7 games on the Xbox 360 that you should get to before the scalpers and the flippers will. You know, while the price is still cheap. I hope you liked the video. If you did, do that for me. Subscribe to the channel. Give me a like. Leave me a comment. I still answer every single one of them. The names you see on the screen are my Patreon supporters and my channel members. You can find a link to those in the description down below. They get access to the videos early, they get access to member exclusive videos you can't see anywhere else. They get their names in videos, they can leave messages in videos, they can even pick some games for me to play. If that sounds interesting to you and you want to help old RNG out, I would really appreciate it. Links to those are in the description down below as well. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I'll see you guys next time.